Hi, I'm Patty with KOMAX Business Systems. Today we're going to be working with a color machine, a C454E. Now a lot of you guys won't have color, but we're going to kind of go over this one so that everybody that does have color will understand what they need to do. We're going to be basically covering some of the most commonly used copy features. Now some of them will be basic and some of it will be advanced. So you can always, if I don't cover things that you need today, you can always go to the website for additional information. Just a couple little helpful hints I've learned from working with the copier that I wanted to share with you guys, so if you run across this, you'll know what to do. I always get in the habit when I'm using letter size paper to go in portrait, whether I'm copying, faxing, or scanning, rather than landscape. It takes the copier less time to read this way than it does this way. Now, you want to make sure too that if you have anything in your other hand, make sure that you don't lay it on these sensors, because this is what tells the copier what size paper is going into your copier. And sometimes when you do that, you'll notice on your screen it comes up looking for 11 by 17 paper. So you want to be aware of that. Now when you're copying from the glass, you want to make sure that you go face down and always start your originals up in the left-hand corner. Anything small is programmed to copy on 8.5 by 11. So if you get past that 8.5 mark, sometimes it'll rotate your image around. Or if you try to center something in the glass small, it's not going to see that document. So just be aware of those little helpful hints there. Your panel is adjustable. If you push it down, you can lay it all the way flat or you can bring it back up. This helps with the glare of the lights and it's handicap accessible. Now your panel is split up into several little sections here, which makes it a little bit easier to use. Your first section is your color, for those of you guys that have color. You have several options here on your color, and the main thing that you want to remember to do is select auto color when you're using color as opposed to full color. And the difference is if you have a document that has some pages are color, some pages are black and white, the copier can distinguish on auto color and determine whether it's a color charge or black and white charge. On full color, if you select full color, what it does, it counts every page as color, even if it's black. So you want to make sure that you always use auto color. Now, two color, I don't see this used a lot, but I'll kind of go over what that does. If you select two color and go to the bottom and select color, you have options of 6 colors. And black will always be your secondary color. So if I go in and select magenta and black and put in a document that has multiple colors, what the copier will do will take everything of any color and flip it to the color that I chose, which happened to be magenta this time around. So the black will stay black, but the green will flip to magenta, the blue will flip to magenta. Anything of any color will flip to whatever I chose it to flip to. And this may be good for brochures, those type things, media type things. Now your single color, if you select single color and go right below it and select color, you have options like a couple pages of color. Now what this does, if I chose, maybe I want to be festive for Halloween, I might come in here and select pumpkin. And what that would do, that would flip the color over to pumpkin and the black to pumpkin. So that might be handy for a document, just a basic text document that you want to dress it up a little bit. So, if I would pop this in the copier and select pumpkin, it would flip all my black to pumpkin, or if I use color, it would flip the black and black and color to pumpkin. Okay. Your next tab down is your density. So this is where you may want to go if you need to make your copy darker or lighter. Next tab over here is your paper tab. And right now you're on auto paper, and basically all that means is whatever paper you have loaded in your drawers, whatever size you have loaded, if you put it to the top, it's automatically going to pull from that size paper. Now, if you want to pull from a specific tray, maybe you're running letterhead, colored paper, something out of the ordinary, I always like to put it in the bypass and select my bypass. And you notice right now I have no paper in there. So as soon as I put the paper in there, and give it just a second, it'll pop up with a little menu and it'll allow me to choose if I want to use like a thicker paper, a special paper, or if I just want it on plain, I'm just going to leave it on plain. So if you want it to pull from that bypass tray, you physically have to highlight the tray. If you have maybe your letterhead or something in tray 1, you can go through and just highlight like that. Okay, now you'll notice that your trays are numbered right on the left side here. The next little tab shows you the size of your paper, and the next tab shows you the orientation of your paper, whether it be portrait or landscape. But most of the time you want to leave your paper tray selection on auto. And once you touch your reset button, it will go back to auto. To zoom, this is your next tab. This is where you want to go to reduce and enlarge. And you'll notice you have several preset keys here. And these are based on paper sizes. So for example, if you need to reduce legal size paper down to letter size, you go right here where it says 8.5 by 14 down to 8.5 by 11. And you'll notice it automatically displays your percentage here at the top. Now if you come in here and you find that's too much or too little, you can go down at the bottom and touch zoom and tweak it. Zoom and tweak it a little bit right here by using your minus or your plus keys. Okay? You can actually key in your percentage here if you need to. Okay? And then touch your close and OK. And you'll notice it comes back out to your main panel. Now the most commonly used zoom percentages are your 200%, which is twice the size, 50%, half the size, and again you can touch your zoom and you can tweak it here if you need to. This also has something called an XY zoom. If you need to use that, that will allow you to stretch your print horizontally or vertically at different percentages. So you would just go in and plug in your figures, your percentages there, and it will allow you to, like I say, stretch your print horizontally or vertically, different percentages. Okay? And anytime you're in a screen like this and you're not sure where to go, always go to the right corner. There's usually a cancel or an OK, and that will bring you back to your previous screen. This section is where you duplex. And on the copier, it's called original and output. So basically, that's input and output. So the left side is your input, and the right side is your output. And you'll notice that the copier is defaulted to 1:1, which basically means you put one in, you get one out. Next tab down is one-sided to two-sided, and this is the one that most people use. And what this does, this takes single-sided print to a double. And you just put those back to front just like you would normally in your feeder. And you can also do this from the glass. If you need to do a two-sided copy from the glass, it works the same way. Okay, and your output is going to give you two sides. The next one down is 2:1, and basically what that does, it takes a two-sided and breaks it back into singles. And the other one that's used the most is 2:2, which means it's already two-sided and you want two-sided. So just kind of keep in mind the left side is your input, the right side is your output. Now, right below there you have a tab called combining. And this, you'll notice you have 2, 4, or 8. What this does, this takes multiple pages and reduces them onto one. And this is really helpful to cut down on paper and filing space and time. And you can actually use these in conjunction. I could say one-sided to two-sided, and say 8 on one, put 16 pages through the feeder, and I would get 8 on the front and 8 on the back. As an example today, I'm going to show you guys how to use combine. I'm going to do 4 and 1, and I'm also going to do one-sided to two-sided. So basically what I'm doing is taking 8 pages down to 2. So first thing I'm going to do is select one-sided, two-sided, and then I'm going to come down under my combine and say 4 on 1. And I can lay it out horizontal or vertical, but today we're going to lay it out horizontal. So once we've made our selections on the panel here, I'm just going to take 8 single-sided pages. Okay, make sure they're always single-sided. Put them in the document feeder, and we're going to touch our start button. And again, like I was telling you guys earlier, what this does, it reduces paper, it reduces time and effort in filing. Now, while we're here too, you'll notice my documents have already scanned through the feeder. It has not output yet, but my button is blue, so I can go ahead and start another copy job if I need to. That way it goes into the queue and you don't have to wait for your job to finish. Okay, and as you can see, you have 4 on the front, 4 on the back. And this will save you paper, filing space, and time.